You ever have that feeling where you just want the perfect all-in-one guide for something complicated? Well, that's a developer's dream. And today, we're going to look at a story that starts with exactly that dream and a powerful AI that just completely, utterly failed to deliver.
So let's jump right in. This was the initial prompt. And you gotta admit, it's ambitious, but it's also crystal clear. A complete get-ready repository on .NET design patterns, detailed explanations, diagrams, code examples, the works. This is supposed to be the promise of AI, right? A perfect resource, just generated on demand.
So the goal here was simple, really, a perfectly structured guide. We're not just talking about spitting out lines of code, but creating a complete resource that someone could actually learn from. The user wanted clarity, and they wanted the whole shebang. And yeah, this is where that dream just crashes headfirst into reality. This is one of the later prompts, and you can practically feel the frustration dripping off the screen. Are you on drugs? I mean, that's not a question you ask when things are going well. The AI was missing huge pieces, it was inconsistent, that perfect guide was absolutely nowhere in sight. So you see the conflict right there. The promise of this amazing, structured resource just dissolved into a chaotic mess of missing parts and the same mistakes over and over again. This is the gap we're going to explore today, that huge chasm between what we ask for and what these incredibly powerful tools can actually give us.
All right, so let's really break down where things went so wrong. What exactly caused this descent into madness? Let's take a closer look at the specific recurring failures that just kept popping up.
Okay, the key word right here is inconsistent. The AI just could not maintain context. It would take the header for one pattern, the builder pattern, and then slap it on all the other patterns. It's kind of like talking to someone with no short-term memory. It just couldn't hold the overall structure of the project in its head.
And then there were just these gaping holes in the content. The user is practically pleading with it here. Why is the explanation paragraph missing? They keep asking the AI to fill in the blanks, to regenerate a single story. Just hoping that this time, it'll finally be complete. But it never was.
This is just pure desperation. The all-caps emphasis on full means full. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? The user has completely lost trust in the tool and is now basically trying to shout it into understanding a really basic concept, completeness.
And all this brings us to the really crucial question. I mean, these are incredibly powerful models. So why is it so difficult for one to handle what seems like a pretty straightforward request for a structured document? It understands code. It understands language. But does it truly understand intent? Does it get structure?
Okay, enough of the chaos. The AI failed, miserably. So let's do what it couldn't. Let's build a small piece of that guide the right way and really show what true structure actually looks like.
The great irony here is that design patterns themselves are all about bringing structure to complicated code. The AI was asked to create a structured guide about structure, and it failed spectacularly. So we're going to take one of the patterns it really messed up, and we're going to do it right.
Remember how the AI kept getting confused and slapping the builder pattern header everywhere? Well, let's give that specific pattern the proper, focused treatment it actually deserves.
So what even is the builder pattern? Well, think of it as your go-to for creating a really complex object. It lets you build it step by step, and it cleanly separates how the thing is built from what is actually being built. Simple, clear, and concise. This is the kind of basic foundational knowledge the AI just kept missing.
And here it is. This is something the user was practically begging for, the diagram. It's not just a pretty picture. It's a visual map of the roles, the director, the builder, the final product. It shows you the relationships, the flow, exactly the kind of thing the AI couldn't produce consistently.
Next up, the code itself. The user complained about getting single-line, totally useless code snippets. This, on the other hand, is clean, it's commented, and it's runnable C# code. You can actually take this and execute it. That's the difference between a random answer and a real solution.
And finally, the why. When should you actually use this pattern? The AI really struggled to provide this practical context, so here it is. You use it for complex objects, to avoid those messy, super long constructors, and when you need to create different versions of the same kind of object. This is actionable knowledge.
Another thing the user was desperate for was a decision tree, basically a simple guide to help you choose the right tool for the job. So let's just simulate a tiny piece of that logic right now.
Okay, let's start with a really common problem.
You need to put together a complex object, piece by piece, maybe with some optional parts. What do you reach for?
Well, based on everything we just talked about, the answer is simple. You use the builder pattern. See, the decision is straightforward when the purpose is crystal clear.
All right, different problem. Let's grab another pattern the AI failed on, the proxy. Let's say you need to control access to an object, maybe for security, maybe for logging, but you can't alter the original object's code. What's the right tool for that job?
The answer? You use the proxy pattern. This simple question and answer flow provides the exact clarity the user was looking for. It's not just a list of facts, it's a guided path to a solution.
So what's the big takeaway from this whole cautionary tale of a developer versus an AI? Well, it really all comes down to the critical importance of having a human in the loop.
This comparison really says it all. The AI is a phenomenal engine for generating raw output, no doubt about it. But as we saw, it totally struggles with context, with consistency, and with completeness. The human curator, though, provides the structure. They understand the intent behind the request, and they make sure the final product isn't just correct, but that it's coherent, logical, and actually useful.
So this whole thing leaves us with a final thought. AI gives us answers, and it gives them to us faster than we could ever have imagined. But this story proves that the quality of those answers depends on our ability, as humans, to ask the right questions, to iterate, and most importantly, to provide the essential structure that transforms all that raw information into actual knowledge. Thanks for tuning in.